So you've seen the title and the thumbnail of this video, and you're probably wondering, what the hell are these? And how the hell do I make one? Well, don't worry, because that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how you can make a thoughtful gift for someone that you want to appreciate. So just before I get into everything, I do want to kind of go over what I'm going to be covering in this video. So first of all, we're going to talk about what are these? And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I made them. After that, we'll hop over onto the screen and then we'll look at how I made it and then how you can make it. And then at the end, I'll have a reaction of the cards arriving and all the different things arriving, and then kind of my final thoughts. And there will be chapters and timestamps below for all of these, so if you want to jump to whatever section is most relevant or which one you want to watch, then feel free to do that. But let's get into it. First things first, what are these? Well, it's basically a custom trading card with a message. So every person here will have gotten a specific one with their own character up here, and then a text with the personalized message down here. I know the text is kind of hard to read. That's something that was figured out after the cards were ordered, but we'll get to that part anyways. This character represents me, and you can see that I'm down here at the bottom, and really it's just a holographic card. We'll talk about the borders in a second, but it's just a holographic card, and it's pretty thin. It's sturdy. It's not like paper, but it's just a trading card. And this is just a border sleeve. You can get a full front sleeve. This one I like. I know the people that I work with don't like anime, and I do. So I wanted to pick the border sleeve that was the least anime-like. So roses and wings and dragons kind of like was the least anime specific one, so this is the one that I kind of went with. And then obviously the cards have their own design on it. So obviously there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, so 8 people would have gotten a card that was specific. And obviously I had to make a minimum order, so if I had to order 18 cards, there were 10 generic ones with me on them. And basically this just says thank you from me, and then kind of keep in touch and nice to meet you, and yeah, thank you for your knowledge and everything. So, oh no, I'm putting fingerprints on it. Anyways, so that's what it is. They just kind of go into the sleeves like this, and then they look kind of pretty cool, and they will stay good, hopefully forever, because it's plastic. Can't see it degrading. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Tell me what you think. Let's kind of talk about why I made these cards. So the basic reason was that I was leaving my job and there was a bunch of really nice people there that I wanted to show my gratitude and appreciation for. So I was trying to think of kind of gifts to make them. Also, in case you didn't know, I make origami, and I could have just made something out of that and given it to everyone. But I'd already done most of that because throughout the year it was people's birthdays and stuff, so I'd already given people pieces of origami, so I didn't want to do that again. So even though I had the skill of that, that wasn't an option. And initially what everyone before me has left is like a birthday card. And to me, that didn't feel like enough. I wanted to do something better, something kind of more meaningful, something that's kind of stood out. And my first thought was actually to just make a card, like a custom card that I made myself. And I did that. I made it on Canva, and I actually did print it, and I did give it to them. So that I already did. But while I was making those cards, you know, at that time I was kind of like, there was some really cool Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I had that were holographic, and I found this website with really cool sleeves, so I'd actually just bought some sleeves. And I thought, wow, if I could just make a personal one of these for everyone, wouldn't that be really cool? And it wouldn't just be one card in an office that everyone has to kind of go and look at. Everyone can kind of have their own one, and the messages can be kind of meaningful and private, and yeah, like separate to everyone else, and not everyone has to see the message that I want to give to the specific person. So that's where it kind of started. And then once I had the thought and I was like, you know what, I can probably make this work, then I started researching it and then seeing kind of the most cost-effective way of doing this. And you'll see all of that now once we get into how I made it. So that was pretty much it. I wanted to make something meaningful, something thoughtful, and something that really stood out and kind of people looked at and were like, wow. So let's get into kind of how I made the cards and how you can too. We're over here on the computer, and I'm going to kind of show you how I've kind of gone and made this. So we're on Canva right now. Now, initially, when I thought of the idea, I was like, it's gonna be very hard to make the characters that represent everyone. So I was thinking maybe I just go on Fiverr, find some graphic designer for 30 euro, 30 quid, something cheap, and I just pay them to make it and save my own time. But then I realized I have Canva Pro and I have ChatGPT, so I can just make it myself. And it did take a little while, but it actually didn't take too long. So right here is my design. Now, they're not like individual pieces right now because I've kind of put them together, but they would have been like this on different documents, so I just kind of copied and pasted it over here as this, as a whole picture rather than separate parts. And so I would have put this on. So the first step to this is to figure out what size your cards are going to be. Now, if you're looking for cards like this that fit inside the sleeves, obviously check the size of the sleeves that you're ordering. But most of the time they're 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches, and you can see that up here that this is the size that I chose, and it fits perfectly within these sleeves. There's not a millimeter too much or too little. As you can see, there's just that little like corner. But so how do you do this? If you go into Canva and you go to start a new one, you can actually make a custom size one, and you can make it custom size with 2.5 times 3.5, and then just click create design, and it will open up like this, and then you can make whatever design you want on this. It could be anything. If you want to take a photo from the internet and put it on it, go for it. You don't have to make it yourself. I did not make these characters. I pretty much went over to the side of the elements over here, and I would have just placed them onto the design, and then reorganize everything with the flowers and the sky and the sun and everything and the road to make it look better, really. So let's say, I don't know, let's say I was working with a doctor, I would just drag it on and put it in there, but I'm not going to do that for now. And you're going to notice that the borders are smaller. Initially, I actually made it the whole way, but when we get to the ordering cards part, they have like a buffer space. And it's one of the mistakes that I made, was that I thought that the buffer space would kind of cut off this, and I kind of liked the border, so I wanted to keep it. And so I made the design smaller so that it would fit inside the red buffer space. But actually what that ended up doing was making it look like there's a square, making it look like this. So what I should have done in this case was to put this up here and extended it fully, put this out here, made it fully, put it out here, and then, I'm not making this any better, but put this out here and then put this here, and then filled out this with, however much I needed. So yeah, and then just extended the borders out into the corners, or leave the corners like this. They also kind of look cool. But this is what I should have done rather than what I had in the past, which was like this. So don't do it like that. Just use the full length of it. If it cuts off a little bit of the border, it's fine. The red space is also, it's not really accurate, and that's kind of, that was my first time ordering it, so I wasn't aware of that. But just in hindsight, if you are ordering it now, just use the full border of it and it should be fine, because it turned out fine. So as you can see here, the border actually there's a bit outside of it, which I don't like. So just next time, put the border on the edges and let it be. They will be fine. They come out fine. I'm gonna go down here. This is kind of the other side of it. So this was the back of the cards, what you have here. And this went on the back of every card. And you'll see when we go to ordering cards that this is on the back of every card. Then there are individualized ones. This kind of, the format kind of changes. I have the text in here, and you can see the text right now. I put a little bit in Hindi because I'm Indian, so yeah. And then the graphic. So this is a generic one. Everyone kind of has their own one, so I would have taken whatever character they have and I would have put it here. And speaking of characters, actually, so with Canva Pro, you can pretty much just drag and drop whatever characters you have. But you can't always rely on that because they might not be one that's accurate. So there are a bunch of them here that I was like, certain people that like I couldn't find one for. I couldn't find one that were like, oh, look, you can see that one right there. But yeah, so there are certain ones that I couldn't find here and I had to source otherwise. Now, in that case, you can always go on the internet And if you go on the internet, let me just show you actually, so spoiler alert, but if you go on the internet and you look up, I don't know, icons free or free icons, they have a bunch of them that you can just download, and you can just search up the characters. Now the characters that we're looking at here, this kind of design of characters, they're called chibi characters, so it would be like this. And I just thought they were cute because I'd seen them somewhere else, and I was like, you know what, they might appreciate this. And you can see the ratio of women to men there, so I thought maybe cuteness would be better than actually making them super cool with dragons and stuff. So there's chibi characters, and yeah, you can do that. As a last resort, if you have ChatGPT and the image generation AIs, you can go to them and make one. So I'm not going to open ChatGPT right now, but there is another one, Leonardo AI. It's pretty hard. It's not even signed in. Okay. Well, you can make them online with AI. I would have maybe done it for one or two of them, and yeah, it's only like as a last resort when you can't find a character either on Canva, or if you can't find it online on any of the icons or the free images or whatever. In fact, if you want to use a real image, you could also do that. So if you have a photo of everyone that you want to give one to, you could easily do that, and it might even be better because there's, I don't know, funny photos that you can put in, so there'll be good memories that you can share. And yeah, so this is making the design. So don't pay 30 quid on Fiverr to get someone to design it for you when you can just do it yourself. This whole designing thing didn't take very long, maybe 2, 3, 4 hours maybe. It's not a lot of time, and when you get into it and you start you actually will start enjoying this because it's very creative. So once you get into it, it is actually very enjoyable, and you're not even going to realize that 4 hours are gone and you're done your design. The messages took a little bit longer, just kind of thinking of what you wanted to say. But again, once you kind of get into it, it gets done pretty quickly. I'm not going to go over the rest of the cards. Now we have our design. And actually, this design would have been used on a card as well. So this would be at the front of the card. And then I would have just said thank you and then the service that I was working with. And yeah, just kind of adjusted things. And then at the back, there was just kind of like a little design of like a crossroads symbol. But nothing major, nothing crazy that you need to do. And the thing with the cards is you can actually print with Canva. Now these are business cards, so actually you might be able to just order it straight off Canva, which is completely fine, and they'll probably be pretty good. But obviously if you go down to like postcards or birthday cards, wherever they are, invitations maybe, but they have one for birthday cards. When you actually go to design it, you can just click on cards. So actually let's just see. Card. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Card. Folded card. This way. And then if you actually just make the design, so this is where you would put your design. You put the front on one side, you put the back on the other. They kind of have the templates kind of there, so you can also just use one of these templates. And then you just go to print with Canva and you actually just order it. Choose your things. You don't need 50 of them. You can just order one. €8 is rather expensive for one card, but it's kind of worth it if it's really meaningful. Now, one thing as well is I only ordered one. I only spent €8 on. Canva were nice enough to send me 3. And by the way, this video is not sponsored by anyone. I am just showing you because I feel like it's nice for you to know. Nobody sponsors me. If somebody wants to pay me for this, please do. But I'm not sponsored by anyone, and I'm not, affiliated or associated with anyone that I show in this video, or any companies that I show in this video. So that's your cards. This is your cards. Your designing is done. Once you made your design for all the different cards you want, the next step is to go and actually order the cards. Now, we'll get off this. So what the best option is to just Google trading card maker or whatever, online custom card maker. This one is in the US and has really high delivery charges. So I didn't do it this way. So if you're in the US and not in Europe or anywhere else really, this will probably be a good option for you. Yeah, I don't know much about the other ones. These ones might be nice. But there was one that was in Italy that was really nice. I don't think I have it saved, I can't remember, but they made really cool cards and they looked really, really cool. They were just slightly a little more expensive than the ones that I ordered from, and we'll get into that now, but they were really cool and actually they were worth it. The only reason I chose this one was because I could get holographic cards at the same price as I could get normal ones on the Italian one. That's the only reason I didn't go the Italian one. The Italian cards actually look way better, the designs on them, but I just wanted them to be holographic and shiny because that's just something I enjoy in the cards. Looking at them reflect is kind of cool, and kind of it's also why I kind of like the ring and the jewelry and everything, so being shiny is always really cool. And yeah, so this is the website that I ordered it off. I think it was this one, or it looked very similar to this. It's just kind of like the same owner company, just with a different name. I did my research into all these different stuff, and there's actually there's a lot of discussion on Reddit, so if you want to find and research it yourself, Reddit is your place to go. They all talk about these websites to order from, and for the most part they looked fine. The one thing that I did note for this was some people have mentioned that when you order from this, they have been getting calls or, I don't know, transaction requests on their account, so you need to be really careful when you're buying this. My advice, and what I did, was I used Revolut, and with Revolut they give you a disposable card, so you can use that. So that way at least your money isn't at risk because you have that disposable card and you're staying safe online. The second thing is they will ask for your phone number. If you can give them a phone number that isn't your personal, that is better. The phone number that I gave them didn't get any more unexpected calls, or at least not yet, than usual. Most people have been getting scam calls around me recently. Mine hasn't been more than theirs or less than theirs or anything, so I haven't had any problems with it, but you have to be cautious when you're doing this stuff. So I will definitely recommend, if you're in Europe, use Revolut. If you're in India or wherever else it is, use whatever equivalent you have of Revolut, and use sort of a disposable card if you can. So Revolut is really great for that. That's when you're placing the orders. But let's get down to actually designing it. So now here you'd actually go down and you'd find design and buy. You'd look for traditional cards. I think it's probably this one. But you can check the dimensions later. I think 63 times 88 is 2.5 by 3.5, but I might be very wrong. Yeah, and if not, you can just go for like TCG tokens, TCG cards. I think that's probably it. They have design templates, whatever. So they don't show me here where to make go create now. Okay, so you just go into create now, and then you'd go into personalized TCG cards. These are poker size. I'm pretty sure poker size is the right size. If not, just do check the dimensions that they say on this. Now you can order different quantities. So we've gotten to here. I picked, I'm pretty sure I picked standard. For this I didn't go too much, up to 18 cards. We only want 18 cards because it's the minimum order. And yeah, and then you can pick holographic here, full color print. Yeah, holographic. And then game card finish is fine. Like, you can make these however you like. They're shrink wrapped. If you want booklets, none. It's kind of to store them, it'll be separate, but yeah, you don't need them. And then you just go search your design options, and it's going to ask you whether you want to put it on the card fronts. So I'm going to just show it once so that I don't have to do it twice. If you click same image, it will only show you one card, and it will take whatever image you put on it and it will put it on the back of, or the front of, all the cards. If you go on different images, it will give you like the 18 cards, and you'll put in your image separately on the 18 cards. With the text, now this one wasn't in my one because what's going to pop up on this later is a little bottom section, so just make sure you don't have the bottom section on yours. But same image, and the text one didn't really come up because if you just pick a blank one, you can put the text in yourself. Like I said, I've done it on Canva, so I don't need to put it on here separately. So we're just gonna go with the same image here, and you're just gonna upload your image. Let's say I put in this one, and then I'll close this, and then you put your image here. This part obviously wasn't in my card, so when you're doing it, make sure you pick a blank one, and then you just edit it, and then it has a safe and bleeding area. They kind of explain it to you. See, this red line is where I was trying to get the border to line up with, but instead I actually just keep the border out to the side, and then it's pretty much usually fine. You'll actually just see the card in full as it is. I'm gonna try find a better template, because these ones are kind of awkward, so we're just gonna go with standard. Poker size, yeah, this seems about right. All your settings here, start your design. I think they're pretty much blank, so we'll go same image. I chose 55 cards there, I don't need it. Upload images. Again, we'll just do this, and then you put in your card, and it's pretty much fine. Now this one has a black border. Again, just remove the stuff, and you should be fine. After that, if you want to make the different sides, if you were to go back, I think this is annoying, but if you were to start the design and you were to go to different images, then you have your 18 different cards, and you can put in the image separately for all of them. So once you have all the images created, you can just put them in here, and that's pretty much it. Then you just kind of, next step, you add text to the front, you customize the back, add text to the back. I pretty much skipped the text parts because I did the text on Canva, and then you just customize the back, which is the same on every single card, so it's much easier. You just do the thing I did earlier, and then you preview and add to cart, and once it's in your cart, you just order it with your details. Give them your thing. As far as I know, this company is in Asia somewhere, so delivery does take a little bit. They got to me relatively quick. I actually had no problem with delivery, so yeah, just to keep that in mind. They might take a while to get to you, and then yeah, once it's ordered, it's on its way. And this, again, just some options. If you're in the US, this might be easier. Create cards. Everyone has their own way. Like blank card templates are probably the better ones to go for if you want to do it yourself. But if you don't have too much inspiration, you can actually just, you know, take one of their templates and adjust it to how you want, really. And that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah, that's your cards. Oh, one more thing. So if you want the lovely sleeves that I ordered, this is the website to go to. They have really cool They have really cool sleeves, so I'm gonna go to their so this is what I ordered, the border sleeves. As you can see, most of these have some sort of anime reference, so I didn't want to go for that. I might have done this, but this is sold out. This one might be nice, I just didn't think it would have looked cool. This is the one that I actually went with, just because it was like the least anime-like and still looked cool in my eyes. This one would have been nice, but again, Naruto reference, One Piece reference, so I didn't want to reference other things. This one's really nice, actually. So you can just order it off them. And also, I will talk about it later, you can actually just get the full back of it sleeved in case you don't want to make a design on the back. You could just leave it blank on the back when you're making your cards, and then you could go into here, and I'm pretty sure they have like full sleeves and like this, and you can have really cool designs. I actually have a water one of these, this one. I have this one, so you can obviously order whichever one you think looks really cool. I actually really like this one, so if I was ordering it, I'd go for this one. But again, that's where you can be creative and choose whatever you want. So with that said, you've got your card ordered, you've got your sleeves ordered, and you've got your trading cards ordered. So hopefully they all just need to arrive, and then you can put them all together. And hopefully that has given you enough information to kind of go and make it yourself if you want to. The cost of these, you can see the cost of the sleeves, they're like €5. If you get like completely plain sleeves with no design, they're like €5 as well. So €10 here. Trading cards. These ones are expensive, especially with delivery. Or the website I ordered from. Playing cards, I think it was. This one, the price was like €45-ish. So, 50 quid is. I thought it was fine to order it. Then if you add in the card I ordered off Canva, which was another 10, and then kind of delivery, it did end up around 60-70 euros. Convert that to your own currency, but it's not cheap. Being thoughtful is not cheap. So was it worth the money? Maybe not, but I had the sort of, I felt like I had the discretionary income to make these, and yeah, I wanted to do something cool, and now I have one for myself as well, and this alone is worth like, I don't know, €10, because I'm never gonna get one of these, anywhere else, because there's only so many of these, so they're rare enough. Does that make sense? But yeah, so, and they're pretty. So if you really like your cards and you're gonna stare at them all the time, it's worth it. And I don't know, if you want to go another step forward and make a game out of this, put strategies in there, you're gonna have way more fun than what 70-80 euros is saving you. So it can be worth it. And you can also make it cheaper without actually ordering the cards at all. You can just draw them. But we'll talk about that towards the end when I kind of go to the reflections bit. So you don't actually even need to order the card. You can just order the sleeves and then make a design by hand on the other side. So then that cuts down 40 euros of it. So then you're only spending 20-30 euros. And that's way more manageable. And if you don't want the sleeves either, then you're pretty much not doing anything. So that's different, but you can vary it to how expensive it can get, and obviously the more money you put into it, the cooler and more professional and more finished it's gonna look. So there you have it. Okay, after a long awaited few days, it's here. So let's open it up and see how they turned out. Oh wow, okay, these are actually pretty cool. Just look at the back of them, and they're hollow as well. Wow, that's actually pretty cool. I didn't think they turned out this good. Okay, so here's one. The back of it is fine. What I should have done was just use the full border. I had the border out to the outside, but even now, it doesn't look that bad because it's even. So it kind of looks cool. On the other side, I have a little thank you message. The only real thing that I got wrong was the text, because you can't really read it. You can, but it's pretty hard. So I should have just contrasted the text a little more. Apart from that, it's pretty glossy. It's pretty cool. It actually turned out really, really nice. Because if you look here, I don't want to give away anything here. Yeah, if I, without doing it, the black text is so much better, and it would have looked way cooler. So that's unfortunate, missed opportunity, but it's fine. They're really good. I'm actually really happy with them. This turned out okay. Now I know what I need to do next time. I'm actually just gonna put it on the border and let it be. The border on the front is mostly fine. It's kind of out of balance, but I accounted for that. I have border sleeves coming in for these cards, so they're gonna look really cool, and the foil is very shiny, so they did a good job with this. I think it's really, really cool. And you know what? Worth it. Worth the money. So
if you're thinking about it, go for it. I just looked at one of them. No, it's not the case for all of them, but I noticed one of them I put a typo in. Please read the cards before you send them to be printed, because I thought I spelled it right, and now I'm yeah, just double check, maybe have someone else read them. I didn't want anyone else to read them because I wanted it to be a surprise, and I didn't want to share other information with other people. But yeah, it's only on one card. I think the generic ones are fine. They're like the ones where it's just like, thank you from me. Yeah, they're fine. I think there's no typos on them. Honestly, I can't really read the cards. That's on me. I should have actually made it more contrasting. On the image, it looked like it was gonna be contrasting enough, and then obviously when they come out printed, they come out different. So that's just something to know for next time. I'm pretty proud of them. They're hard to read. They're shiny. They're cool. They've got an image. But apart from the text and my typo, they're very good. They're very good. So I can't complain. I will probably be doing this a bit more. Anyways.
Okay, part 2 is here, so let's get on to it. I'm gonna start unpacking this. This one was a little later, but it's a bit more customized and a bit more higher quality, so we've already seen the cards. These are just the covers that go on them, and actually I'm doing a very bad job of this, so I'm not just trying to bit, but it's very tight. Okay, they're here. Alright, so these are the border sleeves. I'm gonna have to open them. They're also sleeve cheap. I find their quality really good, and their designs are pretty nuts. So yeah, I would recommend them. I'm not sponsored by them, but I would recommend them. There's 2 of these. Oh my god, so much packaging. Let's see. Okay, so here they are. Now, it looks really cool. It's pretty much as expected. Yeah, and they open. So let's put one of the cards in here and then see how they look. Okay, so the border sleeve is on and it makes a perfect. You can't even see where I messed up on the last one, apart from the text that you can't barely read. Apart from that, it's actually pretty good. Now I kind of wish the border sleeves came with 2 sides so I could hide the other side too, but that's just my printing error, so that's fine. Honestly, I know why they're like this. It would be cooler if they were like double-sided, but it's okay. We don't need to hide from it. The back of it seems fine anyways, so it's just the front of it that really matters, that I wanted to kind of at least have it that it doesn't look too bad. And the design is nice. It's got roses around it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. Quality is nice. They fit just perfectly. There's just like a little like corner available here, but like they're hard enough to get in and out of it. So like yeah, they're quite snug. They're not gonna fall out. Now I have plenty more of these. I think there's like 75 of these in there. So like I'm not gonna use all of them. So I'm gonna save them for future ones. Yeah, or if I want to put them on something else, I can. But it's nice to have the option rather than not. So yeah, I will make use of these somehow. So I went ahead and I sleeved up the rest of them. The personalized ones that have different characters and like everyone's personal information on. Not like personal information, but the personalized message on them I'm gonna keep separate because I don't want to share that. But here are the generic ones, the spare ones I had for, I guess, people who I wasn't as close with at work, but who still kind of, I feel like should get one because they're cool people. Really cool. Obviously the back looks the same on all of them, and it's just satisfying. It's just satisfying. You get to see how cool the cards are and how shiny they are and how sensorily pleasing they are. Visually pleasing? Visually pleasing.
how visually pleasing they are. Also, just a little thing for you guys. If you only want to design one side of the card, you can absolutely do that. And then when you order the sleeves, you can get a full like back sleeve, so that you have it on the front, whatever you want in the front, but on the back you have the sleeve, so that your design is on the front, and then the back, it doesn't matter because there's a cool design there. I really like this one. The water one is just really cool, and that they have holographic ones as well, so they're shiny, so you don't need to worry about all the shininess at the front because there's some of it at the back. But also, kind of related to that, is if you don't want to print the cards, like, you know, they're not cheap to make, okay? I wouldn't be spending this if I didn't have disposable income, or at least a little bit of disposable income. And like, if you're not willing, or if you don't want to design a card graphically, like online, digitally, and you are better at drawing, you can draw it. Or you don't even need to draw anything, you can write a message on it. You just have to cut, like, you'd have to obviously let your sleeves come in, cut out a piece of like card or paper that's about this big, and just fit it in, and, you know, put your message on it. I think it's really cool, and it's easy to like store and have, and I always keep one of, like, not one of these, but like something like this or something like this, and a top loader near myself when I feel like I want to look at something cool. So it's kind of a gift that I guess is like, usually gifts just sit there and they're kind of there as decorations, so this is somewhat of a decoration, and it's not really great for the hoarders, but it's a cool decoration that looks nice, and it actually makes something pretty, so people like, and I think a surprising advantage to having the text that's not readable is that you can put this in your room and you won't be worried of people reading it from far away. They'll have to go up close to it. Or if you want to like put it in the really back, or like a really unreachable spot where people can't really read it, then it's fine. You know what's on it, so you don't also need to read it, but the message is still there. So that might be a use of it. I find that that's not going to be as helpful. I think I'd rather just read it properly, but that could be a benefit that might be helpful for some people. But going back to my point, like, you don't need to order these cards digitally, you don't need to graphically design them digitally. It's easy with Canva, as I've shown you, but you absolutely don't have to do it. If your drawing is better, you can save, you know, $80 to $100 by just finding some good card and, you know, cutting it out and drawing onto it. And I know there's a lot more, way more creative people out there than me who can do a much better job with this, but it's just to kind of give you an idea. I found it easier because I am terrible at drawing to make stuff like that, so that's why I did it graphically, because I'm way more graphically oriented, or more digitally artistic, I guess, because it's easy to just take things and put them in places and organize it rather than actually freehand and do everything from scratch. So yeah, you absolutely don't need to order the cards. If you do order the cards, you absolutely don't need to order the sleeves. You can just hand them as a card and they are absolutely fine. And like, if you don't want to design on the sleeves, you know, you can just get transparent ones, which are really, really cheap, probably only like £5 wherever you are, and just, yeah, make them easy. Or if you want to make them really more solid and something you want to put on like the wall, you can get like top loaders, which are way more sturdy than your sleeve. Like, this one is inside a sleeve, inside a top loader, so like this one is not going to get damaged at all. But you know, obviously this is card maintenance, but you can, like, you have options with this, you have creativity, you can make this more creative than just copying what I did, basically. And you know, it doesn't really, like, you don't necessarily have to be the richest person to do this. Like, it's not, you can still be thoughtful, but if you can do it by hand, and even if you're drawing like socks, I think people will appreciate the time you put into it if you really try your best. And like, I think that's what it is about thoughtful presence, is that you put the time into it. You could even learn how to draw something small, like a little icon or a graphic or something, like something simple to draw. There's loads of guides out on YouTube. Something that only takes 5 to 10 minutes to draw. Put that on the top and then put your message at the bottom, and that is completely fine. And then on top of that, you've learned a skill of how to draw something, which also helps. And then and not to say that you shouldn't relax and chill and watch TV and whatnot, but if you spent your time doing that instead, you'd actually feel rewarded with your time. And it's like, okay, I've actually done something. And, you know, it could be a nice change of leisure activity, basically. And, like, obviously, if you really hate drawing, kind of like myself, you can always just go online and learn how to use Canva and make cool designs that way. And like digital art or graphic design is important in a way, because a lot of like social media marketing and stuff is like related to that. So it's not a skill that's wasted elsewhere, you know, like, oh, I learned it for this thoughtful gift and it won't be applied anywhere else. If you learn to use Canva, I am telling you, it will benefit you no matter what you do, because Canva is so damn useful. But yeah, that's just to say that you don't have to learn how to draw specifically if, like, you know, handwriting is a struggle for you, or, you know, something else is in the way. But if you learn how to sort of create something, you've learned the skill, but you've also made a thoughtful present out of it. And that's what I'm trying to say. With all that said, I'm going to put the question back on you. Do you think this was worth it? How happy do you think the people receiving these gifts are going to be, or have been, I guess? How would you feel about receiving a gift like that? Or, well, what can I do better? What can I do worse? And yeah, is this something you'd actually think about trying? And also, if you have any other thoughtful gift ideas that you think are better than this, please let me know, and I will try get going on making something accordingly. Obviously, we're gonna keep it budget friendly, because I'm not going for something outlandish, rambunctious, or outright insane, because I'm not rich. But if we can think of some cool budget friendly ways of making thoughtful gifts for people, I think we should try it. So let me know whatever ideas you have down below. And yeah, thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.